We are live. Hello, everyone. I'm just got to go live also on the computer so it can stream. I'm using something called StreamYard. Here's a plug for you, StreamYard. Not that you're sponsoring me. Using something called StreamYard, which I have to wait to see. There we go. We are all good. We are now live. Right. So, people, first and foremost, I want to say sending you all loads of good health and happiness as always. My name's Jay. I'm a soul coach. I also am a founder of a space called My Safe Space, which is a new absolute wellness platform. When I say absolute wellness, it takes care of the mental, your mind, the physical, your body, and how you feel, your soul. And we've got expert coaches in there. We've got breath work. We've got meditation. We've got exercise. We've got fasting. We've got courses. We've got everything like a tool set within the My Safe Space platform that you can pick up and actually start using for yourself. Because the truth is, true self-help is actually that. You've got to do it yourself. You can have people that support you. You can have medicines that support your physical ailments. However, there's steps that we always must take ourselves to help support our bodies do what they need to do. And that's the same with the mind, with mental health being such a big thing at the moment. So I'm about to introduce a lovely lady who I've now known for, I think, the best part of the year. She'll maybe correct me on that when she comes on. Her name is Laura. Laura will resonate with a lot of you women out there. She's busy. She's a mum. She's doing lots of stuff. And as she'll honestly, authentically share, she's got stuff that she struggles with, just like all of us have. It's just that a lot of the time we keep that struggle inside here in between the ears where it's the noisiest place, but of course no one else hears that noise, only you. And what I'm hoping to do today with Laura will be the first of a few of these podcasts as we actually monitor her journey into absolute health, which, as you'll hear from her in fact, I'll let her, when I bring her on, I'll let her tell you exactly how it started with working with myself and where we are now and where we are moving forward. So without further ado, let me bring on Laura. And people, there is a slight delay, so I will be pausing after I'm talking so that I know Laura has the opportunity to talk. So first and foremost, hello, Laura.
Hello everyone.
Thank you so much for doing this, mate. I really do appreciate it. Out of curiosity, there's a starting point. Would you have done this before, like all them months back prior to going on the journey that you've been on? Would this have been something you'd been prepared to do?
No, I think I've never heard of anything that the platform offered before, the 4 pillars, the breath work. This was all new stuff to me. And I was like, I was that sounds a bit wishy-washy. I don't think that's going to work. And it was all because my brother had seen you, and I think from a West Ham platform, I think my brother got onto doing the fasting, and I was like, wow, he looked amazing, he felt amazing. And I was like, what? You didn't eat for 10 days? Like, I can't even go 24 hours. Coming from a person that's done every diet known to man, you name it, I've bought it, got the book on it, and then it just sat there and got dusty. So I was like, wow, that's brilliant, Reg. Like, how the hell did you do that? And he sort of introduced you to yourself. And I think you do the live on a Monday, the breathwork on a Monday, and it's all free to anyone who wants to join. So that's how it started. I jumped on a Monday, done the breathwork, and I felt so relaxed and calm. I work full time, busy at work. When I get home, running a house, you have children, and I think I was never taking that moment for myself to really just switch off from everything and say, do you know what, I'm going to give myself half an hour. And that first session of the breath work on the Monday free session, I was absolutely sold. I come off there and I thought, wow, I feel at peace for once. Everything just was quiet. And I think that's how I got enticed in.
Brilliant. And actually, that's the perfect starting point, because I've been working as a coach for many years. I've been working as a breathwork coach for about the last 5.5 to 6 years is once that really started. And what's been quite common is, and this is one of the reasons I give Monday nights always for free. And people, if you're watching this and you're interested, the link in the bio on the Instagram page, and below the Facebook description, I'll add the Monday night link. You will find links to actually give a go of the My Safe Space platform where you can try out the breathing. Monday's free, and it was an opportunity for me because I realized through my own journey with breathwork that when you do have that shock moment, because I would never have thought the first time I did breathwork, I'd never thought it would have done anything for me. Just again, like you, I would have thought it's wishy-washy, it's a bit woo-woo. I could picture sort of monks up in hills, you know, in the lotus position. I was thinking, no, that's what's all that about? But of course, to support the work I do with people with cancer, I realized then there was, in my studies at that point with a particular system, there was a direct correlation with how your bloodstream and blood flow represents your overall health, because your bloodstream and blood flow carries oxygen. So the reason I started getting into the breathwork and really pushing that is once people like yourself, even if you have just a Monday night, which is the shortest session, a free go, it can often be quite a big slap in the face of, oh my God, clarity, calm, peace, where have you been? And then it gives you an opportunity then to actually think, right, I like that feeling. Like that didn't really cost much at all. In fact, it cost nothing to turn up on a Monday and give it a go. From that point, like what enticed you? Because obviously it started from a free breathwork session. If we want to start from there, like what you took away, I know you touched on it, but what was maybe the straw that broke the camel's back for you, Gage? You know what, Jay, what else do you do? And then to join obviously the 10-day fast that you mentioned with Reg. Reg obviously as a brother would be party reasons, but surely you would have had your own reasons.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think from that Monday, obviously I started inquiring about, I want to do this more in the week. And I obviously via the platform, you've got Monday breathwork sessions, Sunday breathwork sessions. And then through the chat, I found out about the next fast. And as I say, I tried fasting for so many times and I couldn't get past. I think my longest one was 24 hours and that was it. I crumbled, you know. I'm still having to cook dinners, you know, prepare meals for people. It was just a struggle on my own. So I always knew I was going to do the first fast because, as I say, my brother done it. He looked amazing, felt amazing, and he got so much out of it. So I was a little bit apprehensive, I guess, because I didn't know who the people were doing it with. But they were such a lovely group of people. We all became friends doing it. And I generally feel when you do it together, you work as a team and everyone wants to cross the line together. So I think from that first fast I did last year in the summer, that was it. I was hooked on them. You know, the juicing, just doing 3 days with water and we're coming together, laughing, joking. I think that just made it so much more better. And I was so impressed with myself. I was like, wow, I'm not it for 10 days. You know, you're coming, that's a person that struggled with her weight all her life. You know, I've struggled with weight all my life ever since I was younger. You know, I binge. I've been diagnosed with a binge disorder. That means I binge drink, binge eating. I binge everything. So, you know, it was getting to the point as I've got older, obviously my metabolism slowed down. I just couldn't lose the weight. It was becoming depressing, I'd say. Didn't want to look at myself in the mirror. I was in a really, really tough place. So I think that first fast I did last summer absolutely changed my life. You know, after that, and even we said when we come to the final day after the 10 days and we sat there and said how you felt. I mean, I got so emotional because I was like, you know what, for the first time in years of doing all these dietings and yo-yo diets, I felt amazing. I could look at myself, I could smile, I felt great. And I think that feeling, if you could bottle it up and sell it, that would be worth thousands, because that's that feeling I had after that first 10 days. And that was it then. Right, what else you got, Jay? What can I do next? You know, because I come off of that and I thought, I don't want to stop now. You know, I'm on that train and I like it. So I wanted that train to continue. And hence, that's when we moved on to the 28 days.
Bang on. And I'm glad you touched on the, sorry about the noise here. Typical, just as I started the podcast, they've decided, can you hear that noise in the background? Law. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully it'll stop. Hopefully it'll stop. Stop for a minute anyway. I might shut these windows in a sec. But yeah, I'm really glad that you touched on the mental element, because obviously your driver, like most people when they do a fast, is weight. But then what you realize as you go through the fast, that the issues, it's not really the weight. In fact, a lot of the time we use food for mood. And when you stop eating, it recalibrates your relationship with food, because you realize that same for all of us, that we're quite unconscious when we come to food. We'll grab something, we're not even that hungry, and we'll grab something which will often be full of sugar or shite in general, and we'll just eat it. And then we'll go, you know, a couple of hours later, we'll eat something else. And it's so unconscious and truthfully unhealthy. However, what happens is, as I'm sure you experienced, is through the fast, because all of a sudden there's a transition where normally throughout the day you're worrying about all these other things, but part of that worry is, oh, what am I going to eat next? Because there is nothing to eat next, there seems to be a bit of a shift that occurs with people, and they start stopping worrying and realizing, oh my God, I waste so much time worrying about nonsense when actually I'm hungry. Like, I do feel hungry, because throughout the fast, it's very unlikely you won't feel hungry over 10 days. You will have spats of hunger. Sometimes it's really, really bad, sometimes not so much. But my point is, there is such a mental element to, you know, I don't know if you've ever done this. I remember the first time I used to do it, I used to go to the fridge, open up and realize, oh yeah, I'm not eating. And then shut the fridge again. And then realize that walking away like, shit, I can't eat at the moment. And it's funny, because your mind is saying, oh, you can't eat. You want to sort of battle it back. But at the same time, it's really easy, because at the end of the day, no one's around. No one will know. But you'll know, but I'll know that, oh, I've just done that. And this is the thing. This is the biggest win of these fasts. It's the mental resilience. You'll realize that your physical well-being is absolutely linked to how you mentally think and feel about yourself at the time that you are in your life. Now, often we go through life, and I've coached many women. There's a role of motherhood which comes with such a weight of expectancy of what you should be as a mum, and how you should be as a wife, and how you should be like as a woman in general, that what tends to happen is, with the women that I've coached, is they get to a stage where they feel a little bit lost. It's like, what do I do for me? Like, what is it in my daily life that I actually do just for me, not for the other half, not for the kids, not for the boss, no, just for me. And with the fast, there's a reminder of your own self-importance. Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, when I've done that fast, you get to this realization how much you're overeating. You don't even need all that food. It just really proved to me that I was massively thinking about food. I'd wake up thinking about food. Lunchtime, what am I eating at lunchtime? My whole day, it seemed to be planning around when I'm next eating. And it was like, when you do the fast and you shut that off for a second, you think, I was massively overeating. Massive. And also as well, you get this massive surge of energy. I think it was day 2, you know, I was running around the house tidying up, and everyone was like, what's going on with Laura? Who's taken Laura and replaced her with someone else? Because I was going nutter, tying everything up, doing this. I was going 100 miles an hour, because you get this massive surge of energy, which you never think you're going to do just on water. And another thing I would touch on is my skin. I suffer with psoriasis all through my hair, on my face, on my arms. And because we're doing pure juices and just taking the goodness out of the vegetables and the fruit, because it's predominantly vegetable, my skin was amazing. I looked in the mirror, I thought, wow, I'm glowing, you know. My psoriasis in my hair had gone, all the circle patches on my arms. And again, another great thing for me, because I'd really suffered with that itchy, flaky skin. So, yeah, it touched on, it done everything for me, the fast. And I think that, again, that was my stepping stone up to do the 28 days, which where we done the complete health overall with yourself, which was, again, you're talking about a woman that struggled to get out of bed every morning just to get to work. I didn't think I'll be getting up at 6, getting up at 4:30, prepping, starting training at 6 o'clock in the morning, breath work, working out, strength, cardio. You know, these things was never heard of. You know, I didn't do these things. But again, that whole journey, again, where we worked on the pillars, being mindful, working on the ego, being our best self. Again, like, you know, this stuff, it's just such an eye-opener and a game changer for me, because I've now worked all these things that I learned over them 28 days into my day-to-day life. And I do feel better in myself and how I manage my feelings on a day-to-day basis, and I feel happier. And I think that was one of the things we said at the end of the 28 days, you know, where we was doing breath work, training, exercise, meditation, you know, all these things. And you get so much within that 28 days. I come to the end of it and I was like, do you know what, Jay? I feel happy. and that, again, that was something that you can't put a price on that. I felt happy for the first time. I was looking in the mirror, I was smiling again. I got a bit of myself back, and that was what was so powerful. And like, even my family could see the change in me. It was a complete overall of my life. And even my boss, I was working better at work. I had more energy at work. I was on top of things. It just switched my brain on. It's like it'd been off for years, and someone went, hello, bang, on it goes. And I was, I was Laura again. So it's been an absolute amazing journey for me. And to top it off, my body shape completely changed. I mean, I took before and after, and I've shared those photos with yourself. Complete change in my body shape. I have muscles now. Wow, who'd have thought that? And to top it all off, when we went straight in for another fast. It's in total from the 28 days to the end of the 28 days. I'd lost circa 2 stone. Again, this is weight that I've been trying to get off for years and years and years. And that 28 days, again, another push, another kick up the arse. And I was well pleased. And people are starting to notice it as well. Laura, what you've been doing, you look well, your skin's glowing, you look happy, and they all notice. And again, it just makes you want more and more and more of it.
Absolutely. Now, I want to touch on the pillars. So in the 10-day fast, I introduced the pillars, but there's not enough time over the 10 days to actually go through the pillars properly, as obviously you would have experienced when we did the 28 days. However, it is a very insightful concept, the 4 pillars, because again, it's one of them things, if I'm being completely honest. Now, I developed these 4 pillars from a very difficult place that I was going through at that point, with my mind, with my mental health, with my ego massively affecting how I thought about myself and how I felt about myself based on the thoughts that I have. And that concept of someone saying, right, I've got these 4 pillars, that's straight away, normally, I'll be honest, I'd have been like, oh yeah, here we go, the 12 steps or the 4 pillars or whatever. And you think, I've heard these things before. There is a difference though with these pillars, because just to be clear, what these pillars are, people, is pillar 1 is your ego, which is your mind. Pillar 2 is soul, which is feelings. Pillar 3 is the now, which is a big realization you get once you start, whether you go through the fast journey or you go on my coaching journey. That whole, oh my God, being present thing is a game changer. And pillar 4 is best self. Now, what you did, Laura, which is brilliant, best self, for the record, people, all that means, as far as I'm concerned, is that you feel happy. That is your best self. That encapsulates everything good about any moment is your happiness. If you feeling happy in you, that life can't get any better than that. So if you can, sort of just go through the, so it's obviously ego, soul, now, the now and best self, but go through how when you first sort of started looking at the ego type part of that journey, which is the most difficult part, because that's the negative part. If you look at your mind, you realize, I can't help it. I might be a positive person, but I have a lot of shitty thoughts. Because let's face it, people, if you was to walk around and you had a speech bubble coming out of your head, and everyone in your life had speech bubbles coming out of their head, and you could all read each other's thoughts, by the end of the day, none of you would be talking to each other, and most of us would be sectioned, because we all think some really crazy, spooky shit on a daily basis. It's the way the mind works. So, yeah, go on, mate. What was your take on the 4 pillars, and how have they helped you move forward?
Yeah, the 4 pillars, again, a massive eye-opener, because you don't think, you go day to day and you think, well, that's pissed me off, and you straight away you're like, you're shouting at people, you feel like I'm going to get them in a headlock, they really piss me off, and just general things like at work, oh, she made this comment, and I'd take it out of context, and I'd roll with it, and I'd keep thinking about it, and it'd keep agitating me, and I'd keep wanting to talk to my colleagues about it, and they go, Laura, just drop it, no, I'm not dropping it. I'm not dropping it because that's pissed me off, and it was just every little thing. And when you talked about ego and and getting a check of ego, again, it's like, oh, that's my ego. That's why I'm thinking. She didn't think that. My ego in my head has made that a worse situation than it actually is. And if I'd have just sat back and didn't go straight in, 100 miles an hour, you've pissed me off, and then gone for the jugular. If I'd just sat back like you teach us, I think, get your ego in check, then it's a whole game changer, like you're going round and you're arguing with people and you're allowing everything to upset you. But when you step back and you know, and make people open their eyes, and when you talk about ego, it's like, why haven't I not been doing this for years? You know, in fact, you go from sort of snapping at everything to being so chilled out and taking a step back and thinking that's a you problem, not a me problem. And you also go around and then you start thinking, oh, that's their ego that they've said that, or that's not my problem. You become this like your own little guru, checking everyone else's ego. It's absolutely gobsmacking, really, when I think about it. But yeah, that's changed my life. I don't get upset on the little things. I don't sweat the small stuff. I don't allow my ego to go flying in. Don't get me wrong. Ego's always going to be about for me, you know, when you've got, you know, a high pressure job, or, you know, it does go off from time to time, but straight away I'll go back to what you trained us on, you know, and I'll get the why, you know, and I'll take a step back. You know, I won't allow it any energy, and it just makes for a more peaceful life. And who'd have thought it, that one pillar, that first pillar, working on that one could have such a detrimental change in me, you know, in my day-to-day life. So that was an amazing thing. But yeah, so all the pillars, they just resonate. Once you learn what the pillar is and how to move, you know, and move on with it, it just changes you. You know, being my best self, like I said, when we got to the end, working on my feelings, you know, working on my mind, being present. I mean, this is a massive thing at the minute, because as I was saying to you earlier, on, I think it's Monday, Tuesday, on the news, on the main news, they're now saying to people, you know, taking a step back, meditating, being present, mindfulness. It was all on the national TV, and they're saying they've got, you know, there's so much evidence to say if you do these things, you make for a better, best self, better life. So yeah, it's all in the night. So it's a really big thing now, because everyone's realizing it just is so helpful for people that struggle with anxiety, depression, you know, people struggling with their weight, like all these things, they all work together, and they all help an array of things, not just weight, you know, your mind, your body, you know, being your best self, checking your ego, just taking that, even though that 10-minute meditation that you do via the platform at 1:30 every day, you know, the things you talk through while we're meditating, again, it just bigs you up for the afternoon and you can go again. It's just these little things, these little changes, they have massive benefits on everyone.
Love that. Absolutely love that. And for the record, people, this is the first of a few episodes of this particular podcast I want to do with Laura, because Laura's journey, not only did she do the fast for 10 days twice, and there's the third time coming up. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. Yep. So not only did she do the 28-day journey, however, even come the end of that, there was this one. So at the end of the fast, she wanted more. She knew, right, it was time, my time. Like, Jay, what else is there for me to do for me? Then it was the 28 days. Then that started coming to an end. And then Laura was very vocal, like, Jay, can we continue this morning stuff on after, which you did do. And it actually initiated me opening up a online gym subscription, people, which you can, again, if you're interested in, there's a 5-day per week option or a 3-day per week option, where we get up, as Laura said, we're up at the crack of dawn. The room's open by 5:50. You can do it from the comfortability of your bedroom, your kitchen, your garage, wherever. Up at 5:50, we start breathing at 6 o'clock. We start training by about 10 past. We're done by 5 to 7, and the rest of the day you are set up. And that's a journey Laura's going to continue to go on, and we're going to blog it, and she's going to show you her progress as we go through. And it's going to be a wonderful experience, because as much as I can talk about, I've been jumping up and down about this stuff for years. But of course, I sound like a dodgy car salesman. I know what I sound like, or I make. But when you hear other people talking about it, people that I've worked with, and they're saying, because the thing is, as you speak about it, Laura, in my mind, I'm going, I know, because I'm struggling with pillar one, my ego, every fucking day. That's the big one, people, to take from this, from the coaching element. Because when you hear the word coach, if I was to say to you, I could help you with coaching, you go, who are you? That'd be your first response. How could you help me? You don't know, because that's your ego. That's your ego. You have a chat with me, and maybe you realize, hold on, this space that has just been created with this conversation, I actually feel all right to talk about stuff. That's the first step, because your mind don't want you to talk about stuff. I know that, because I suppressed stuff for nearly 3 decades, stuff that I needed to process. And when it came out, it was in an instant. 27 years, I realized I persecuted myself. The thing that had happened 27 years ago, that person was no longer to blame. Everything else from that point, that was all on me. And that's the same with you, the things that you're holding. So if you're interested in finding out more, in the link on my Instagram, you've got the free trial to the My Safe Space platform, which obviously is where you'll find Laura and myself. And everyone's really nice in there. People talk, they engage. There's lots of different things going on as well. And it is all around, it's centered around everything that Laura's touched on today. So Laura is also starting the next fast, which will be a third one on the 6th of February. And please, people, if you're interested, there's a link for the fast in the bio as well. As Laura said, thinking I'm going to stop eating for 10 days, obviously that's going to set your mind off. There's no way. What you've just heard from a normal human being, a normal woman, busy mum, busy job, busy life, she managed to still get through that 10-day course, exercise throughout it, meditate throughout it, breath work throughout it, and still perform, as she said, actually better at work. Family noticed the change in her. So there's got to be something in what she's saying. So thank you, Laura, for doing this. And obviously it's part one. Thanks very much.
No worries.
Brilliant. And people, have a fantastic day. Sending you all good health and happiness. And like I said, the link's in the bio. Give us a shout. I'm going to end the live now.